Hello and welcome to Budget with Business Standard. I'm Veenu Sandhu. The show talks about various things. It gives you news, views, analysis on various things related to the budget. In the earlier episodes, we have spoken about taxation. We've spoken about the compulsions of a coalition government. We've spoken about infrastructure, very important given the Friday rains that brought about a near collapse of infrastructure. We've spoken about capex. We've spoken about jobs. Today, our focus will be trade and investment, for which we have in the studio my colleagues Asit Ranjan Mishra, Economic Affairs Editor with Business Standard, and Shreya Nandi, Assistant Editor, Business Standard. Welcome to the show. My first question is to you, Shreya, and it talks about, where it takes off from the story that you've done today, the page one lead today, where we have Minister Piyush Goyal saying that, not just China, all PLI-led visas will be fast-tracked to boost manufacturing. So could you first tell us, this comes just before the budget, and we are hearing it from the minister for the first time. How would this reflect in the budget? Is it like a sign of what we will see in the arena of PLI in the budget? And if so, what are the areas and what are the sectors which could get further boost?
Right, this is the first time that the Commerce and Industry Minister has said something on record. And this shows that the government has been very, very serious about the implementation of the PLI scheme. And over the last 1.5 years, the government has been trying to sort out all the teething issues. And the fast tracking of visa approvals has been one of the key requests from the industry, because at times for implementation of schemes for, say, steel or white goods, or even several other schemes, say solar PV modules. So, certain schemes cannot be implemented without the intervention of Chinese technicians. And as we know about our, the situation between, or the relation between India and China, the government has always been cautious about the visa approval of such technicians. So at the moment, DPIT as well as the Home Ministry has been, as well as the Ministry of External Affairs, in fact, has been coordinating to sort out these visa approval related issues. And as far as the budget is concerned, we do see a focus, we do expect a focus on the implementation of new PLI schemes for labor intensive sectors such as toys, furniture, textiles, and this the government believes could further lead to give a push to job creation in the country.
So a follow-up question quickly on that. Would there be then more budget allocated to the PLI schemes in the upcoming union budget?
So if you notice, we know over the out of the 14 PLI schemes, most of the schemes, the budgeted or the allocated amount is under 10,000 crore. So now that we have 41,000 crore unspent under the PLI scheme, so maybe we could see at least 4 to 5 new PLI schemes. At least that is what would fit into the budget of 41,000 crore. That's why I don't think there would be need for any additional funds for these PLI schemes in the upcoming budget.
So no additional funds, but definitely a greater push and definitely a bigger spread in the PLI arena. Coming to you, Asit, would there be something more for the budget that would boost, say, attract FDI? Also, is there something that can add to further FDI liberalization that we will potentially see coming up in the budget?
Yeah, the government has been saying that we are one of the most liberalized countries in the world when it comes to FDI. But I think there is ample scope for further FDI liberalization. But whether the government will bite the bullet in this budget for that is to be seen. So, say for in FDI in multi-brand retail, government doesn't at present allows FDI in multi-brand retail. Even for inventory-based e-commerce, government doesn't allow FDI. In insurance, government at present allows 74% FDI. It can increase to 100%. Whether government will do that or not, we have to see. But what the government can do is actually to facilitate more FDI inflows into the country, make it the business environment better, so foreign investors feel more confident in coming to India. Like, for example, even in insurance, there is one amendment pending in the insurance bill where they will allow composite licensing. If the government does that, then I guess more FDI, more investors will be interested to come into India.
This is not strictly related to the upcoming budget, but it's a related question. In the last 2 years, we have been seeing FDI inflows contracting. Do you see that? Do you think that bilateral investment treaties can revive that?
That's a very important question, we know. Actually, around 2015, India discontinued all the BITs, which were called BIPA at that time. And then it came out with a model BIT agreement, which only 5-6 countries have adopted. So one of the key contentious issues there is the state investor dispute settlement mechanism, where at present the government says that within 5 years you have to exhaust all the domestic judicial remedies, then only you can go for arbitration. And foreign countries actually do not agree with that. They think this time period is too long. You have to fast track the cases because we can't wait for that long. So whether the government will signal through this budget that they will amend the BIT is to be seen. This is a key demand from foreign countries, and this can actually, I think, boost FDI.
I would like to add a point over here that in fact, in an interview with Business Standard, in April, the DPIT secretary had told us that that India is targeting $100 billion FDI inflow on an average over the next 5 years. And this will happen through it could happen through liberalization in FDI, simplification of rules and ease of doing business. And certainly, as Asit mentioned, that a bilateral investment treaty would definitely boost FDI inflows if all goes well between in the negotiations between its key trade partners.
Asit, coming to you, what can the budget do to correct the inverted duty structure which exists in many sectors? And also, what customs duty tweaks can we potentially expect?
Yeah, this has been an issue long pending. In fact, the inverted duty structure has become more deeper after government increased tariffs in many intermediate products. So the industry has in fact started now demanding that the government reduce rates. To my surprise, CIA has made a statement in a budget proposal that the government should consider bringing down their duties. But government is trying to protect the domestic industry on one hand, and then the intermediate products where the duties have been increased, they have also made it inefficient for the industry to produce the final products and then export. So, there is now a very tricky situation for the government what to do. But overall, there is now increasing feeling within the government, and that government needs to bring down duties, overall duties in India. And this is also coming from the Niti Aayog CEO, V.V.R. Subramaniam, who was once upon a time the Commerce Secretary himself. So he's saying we have to bring down the duties, overall duties, then only, and we cannot keep protecting the industry. And in fact, if you remember, the finance minister in a interaction during the BS Manthan had in fact said that this duty restrictions and protections are not there to stay for eternity. So whether the government will do something in this budget, we have to wait and watch.
So that you're reading that as a potential hint.
Absolutely.
Of what is to come.
Yes.
All right. Shreya, you wanted to add something?
Yeah. So I also wanted to add that the DPIT and Commerce Industry, Commerce Department has been holding consultations with the industry related to that, and there has been a strong push for tweaking of duties for consumer goods such as air purifier, washing machine, or even for items such as furniture and paper. So as far as we know that there has been a proposal sent to the finance ministry, and it will be up to the finance minister to finally take a final call on this. In fact, during the pre-budget consultation meetings with the trade and industry participants had also pushed for an increase in customs duty for petrochemicals because of dumping of these products into our country. So in certain cases, we can see some sort of protection from from the government to save the industry.
So this is on imports. Now, if we were to move towards exports, given the geopolitical tensions, we have an ongoing war. We've seen the Red Sea crisis is another big issue. Do you think there's going to be something for exporters? It has been a demand, something, some kind of a relief for them. What are your sources telling you, Shreya?
So exporters have been going through a really tough time over the last 2 years. We saw the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and it was followed by the Red Sea crisis and the tensions in the Middle East, as well as the slowdown in developed markets. So exporters have been going through a lot, but over a period of time, we can also see that the trade is also slowly adjusting to such kind of the crises, and at this point of time government may not be able to come up with any incentive as such, but government has been handholding the exporters as well as the trade through various export boosting schemes. So for example, one of the top demands from the industry has been to extend the interest equalization scheme or have a continuity for schemes such as ROTTEP. So for interest equalization scheme, it has been extended for 2 months, but exporters are hoping for a further extension of that scheme.
And Asit, do you think something would happen in that front?
One thing is that this government has been signaling is that we are not going to incentivize the big exporters. So all the incentives, whatever the government will give, this will come only for the MSME sector, MSME exporters. So the small exporters who actually need a hand-holding and their products needs to be promoted. In fact, there is a demand from the MSME sector that there should be a specialized fund created so that their products can be popularized across the world. So that kind of scheme I would expect the government to take in this budget.
Last question of the show now. Any kind of a boost to exports through special economic zones, would this budget set the tone for, say, an amendment to the SEZ Act?
Yeah, so the government between Finance Ministry and Commerce Ministry, Shreya will know better, has been discussing this bill to replace the existing SEZ Act, but that didn't materialize. So what they have now come to the conclusion is that let's amend the SEZ Act, which is the present one, and facilitate for the boost to the units present in the SEZs. So once, apart from boosting the exports from SEZ units, one of the demands is to allow them to sell their products in the domestic market. But there comes the problem. The domestic, the units in the SEZs, they enjoy a lot of incentives, which the domestic players do not. So there is a disparity. So if the SEZ units are allowed to sell in the domestic market, so there will be a disadvantage to the players in the domestic market. So I think government has to draw a fine balance there.
Shreya, quickly before we close.
Yeah, so as far as the SEZ amendment is concerned, I'll tell you what the current status is. So the Commerce Department has been working on the amendments in the to the SEZ Act for some time now, and all that it needs is an approval from the cabinet. And as soon as it receives an approval from the cabinet, we do expect introduction of those changes in the Parliament, and maybe a revamped SEZ law that would have greater integration with SEZs and a greater integration with the domestic tariff area, as well as how it can further boost exports, push manufacturing, and draw investments into the country.
Thank you so much, Shreya, and thank you so much, Asid. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow.